So, like I said, the phoenix bird is a firebird. And so the idea of fire was also pretty prevalent in my story in this third book. For those of you who don't know, probably many of you don't know this, but I worked at a place called a fire cache many years ago in college. And it's basically a warehouse that sends supplies to national wild forest fires. And so I worked there for all my summers when I came home from college, and we would have many summers where we had lots and lots and lots of fires here in Colorado, and they got pretty bad, some of them. And so, depending on how many structures are in the way or how many people might be in danger, depends on the level of the fire and what kinds of supplies they need or the urgency to get it out and all that. And so I did work there. My brother worked there as well, and he's still there. He's moving up in the ranks there, which is cool. And my dad also helps drive trucks for them for supplies to different camps in the area as well. So it's kind of a family thing. My mom was always there supporting us when we were working those long hours. But I think that experience really influenced how I wrote this third book. I don't know, maybe sometimes if you think about summer, you may not just think about fire, but that was how we spent our summers, and that's how my brother still spends a lot of his time dealing with that and supporting fires and sending supplies and refurbing supplies and all that. So fire is kind of a prevalent theme in our family and kind of very influential. And so when I was thinking about the third book, I thought about fires and the phoenix bird and just the rebirth. And I just love the verse that talks about he will bring beauty from ashes and different things like that. So those are all elements that I really wanted to incorporate in this book. Even though I worked in an environment where we were supporting wild forest fires, I know firsthand how devastating those things can be. And like I said, we had quite a few really big fires here in Colorado for a few years in a row. And it's just incredible how fast they can spread. And there's still hot spots that you can't put out. And it's many people lose their lives or lose their homes or all that. And so it can be a very devastating thing. And it's a force of nature that we have no control over. We can't stop if a lightning strikes and starts a fire in the forest. We can't prevent things from happening like that. And sometimes it takes a lot to put them out. I mean, one of the fires, the fire literally jumped over one of our interstates, and because it was so big and out of control. And so it's just one of those things that we as man have no control over, and they can be truly devastating. But in God's perfect creation and how he formed and created everything in this earth, fire is actually needed in some instances to bring rebirth to a forest. If the forest is dead and hasn't had a fire in years, it's lacking those nutrients that come from being in a fire. And so sometimes when I was researching this, I found out that there's several kinds of seeds or pine cones that don't even open unless they're under intense heat, like in a fire. Not only are there certain seeds and pine cones that can only be opened in the intense heat of a fire, you also have certain plants that don't grow unless there's a fire. And the forest can just be dead if they don't have fire. And so they do controlled burn sometimes as well to put those nutrients back into the earth and hopefully help the forest rebirth and regurgitate and regenerate itself. So I really wanted to incorporate those elements into this book. One of my favorite little shorts that Disney ever did was in Fantasia 2000, and it was the Firebird scene. And that scene always stuck with me. If you're not familiar with it, the little spring sprite is awakening after winter, and she's making the earth beautiful and making everything grow and all that. And she gets caught in a fire from a volcano, and they portray the volcano as like this firebird that was destroying everything in the forest. And she kind of comes to the end when everything's destroyed and she feels defeated and just hurt and unable to continue on. And then her friend, this elk, comes and carries her and reminds her that she can bring rebirth out of these ashes and stuff. So just like I said, and I keep saying, the idea of rebirth was really prevalent in this third book, and just kind of bringing the beauty from ashes and finding that beauty in difficult circumstances, or finding the strength to rise again out of those ashes and being stronger and more beautiful or more powerful after those events happen in our lives.